Okay, all right, let's do it again. Hey
Okay.
guys, welcome to today's interview. I'm very happy because I'm going to be sitting down with Louise, and she's agreed to sit with me today. So hi, Louise. For those of you that don't know, Louise is a placement agent with YPI, and we get to pick her brain today. So, but first and foremost, Louise, tell us how you got into yachting.
Okay, perfect. So I used to work in land-based and accounts and like human resources and recruitment. And I applied for a job in somewhere called JPMA, Hoylake Sailing School, who obviously do all the engineering and, deck things. At the time, I didn't really know what yachting was. I just saw these, kind of small boats when I'd been on holiday, and I just presumed that whoever kind of owned them just, got off and drove off in them. I didn't realise about engines and, interiors and how much actually went into something like that. Anyway, so I happened to go to a boat show with them, and that was in Antigua, and just absolutely just fell in love with the industry. I love the way that everyone is. Everyone's so friendly. Obviously the boats are just stunning. I learned so much, and that was it. I was hooked. So I've worked in yachting since. About 4 years ago now, I had a phone call off Chris Dane, who's also a recruiter, who asked me if I'd be interested in coming to the south of France and working with him in a crew placement, and I did, and I love it, and it's what I'll do forever.
Oh, that's really awesome. And then tell me, so now obviously with this whole virus thing that happened, what are your predictions for this upcoming season in the Med? I've had a lot of people wanting to come over ask me this question, and I have no idea what's happening on that side of the world.
It's so difficult, and it's changing every week as well. Obviously, we're getting told, at some point we're getting told, it's there's going to be no season, and now we're kind of thinking it started to lift here slightly now. So I think in terms of whether there'll be a charter season, I'm not so sure, but recruitment season now is starting to pick up because people are starting to be able to travel here. So you've got like the poor crew that were due to go on leave in sort of like February, March, that obviously all the borders shut down and they couldn't go. They've been stuck on board now for, so many months without a break. So I'm getting a lot of jobs in anyway to say like, we need someone to come in so that they can, kind of give that person some time off. There might not be guest usage, obviously, for, another while, but, that's just something we're just going to have to play by ear really and see when the borders open.
Yeah, it's a tough question. So I mean, for people that are flying in to France to start out their career from scratch and stuff, would you recommend that they wait it out until maybe the US season starts up again here? Because I feel like it's still going to take a few months before everything's back up and running the way that it was before.
Yeah, absolutely. With my kind of junior crew, especially the green crew at the moment, I've said, there's so few jobs and so many, stewardesses that are available. But if, you are kind of green crew, it's probably not a good idea. But, when the borders open, I wouldn't tell anyone to come here now. To rush down thinking that you might get a position. I don't think it might, it might take a little bit longer. They might have to stay at home for a little bit more time and save up and get more money to come back. As you say, if they can't do the Caribbean, maybe next season as well. When I speak to the girls and boys as well, I do say sort of, just check in with me every week and I'll kind of give you an update. But my advice at the moment would be for no one to kind of head here, just to kind of wait until further notice, really.
Okay, that's awesome. That's really good advice. Thank you so much. Okay, cool. So then another question that I've been getting quite often is, what advice can you give to people that are doing interviews? Like any few tips and tricks that you can share with us today?
There's loads. I think I keep saying as well that one of the biggest questions that people are going to ask you now when you're going for an interview is, what did you do during lockdown? How did you spend your quarantine time? So I think my best advice is, because I do think this is going to be a big question, is that you can say, oh, I invested in a course, or I learned how to do this, or I did some online training, or I practiced napkin folds, or, I learned about this, I learned about that. Yeah. If you don't have that and someone asks you what you did and you just get nothing, it's not going to be great. With interviews, just always be yourself. It's so important, personality is everything on boats as well, as you know yourself. You know, you have to kind of get on with your crew, you have to know them. So just always be yourself in an interview, and don't worry about, anything that isn't, real.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. It's there's two things that I usually say is that you have to realize that the people that are interviewing you have not only interviewed many people in your situation before, but have probably been in your situation before. So just remember that as well. And yeah, I mean, it's so important to be yourself, because the people that are hiring you are going to place you with personalities that complement yours. So if there's a whole pretend thing happening, then it's just going to bomb out really quickly.
Yeah, exactly. And people sense it as well, can't they? If you're not being true to yourself, and you're pretending to be someone that you're not, that they think you think they want you to be, people can sense it, and all they can sense is there's something false and weird coming off. So I don't think it's, it doesn't really work.
Yeah. And then just another quick question. Are there any other specific online courses that you can recommend for, I know that there's been a whole bunch of videos going out, you've been sharing a whole bunch of awesome stuff, but anything that, besides I've seen some security courses being released online, any other courses that you can recommend that would be really helpful for a green stew or deckhand CV at the moment?
I know that obviously Lynn Edwards, I know you know Lynn, she's been, who doesn't know Lynn in the industry, with luxury hospitality. They've been doing some great stuff. I've seen a lot of their free stuff. I haven't seen their more in-depth content, but if their in-depth content is anything like the quality of the videos I've seen, then I think there'd be somewhere to go. And again, I know that a lot of them are doing quite like theory-based stuff, sort of like you can do a lot of housekeeping theory-based, which is good, which is great, because obviously, if you're a stewardess and you can go up to your chief stew when you're applying for your job and say, oh, I haven't practically done this, but I know I've got all the theory behind it. I think that kind of really does impress people. So I'd kind of look for things like that as well.
Okay, cool. That's really awesome. Thank you so much. Do you have any last minute tips and tricks that you could share to all the newbies out there? Any words of wisdom?
Words of wisdom. My words of wisdom, and I say this quite a lot, is hobbies and interests on your CV. Please leave them on there. There seems to be this trend at the moment for taking them off. So my thing is, your hobbies and interests shows who you are when you're not on the boat. It shows how you spend your time and what makes you a person. And you never know what bizarre hobby you have that might get you a job. I've placed face painters. I've placed, these are green stews. I've placed people that worked in the circus, like people who have an equestrian background. And if you take anything like that about who you are as a person off your CV, then, you just become one of, 2,000, and you lose your individuality.
That's really great advice. Yeah, I mean, we've been placed before because we spin fire, and it's something that we don't do every day, but because it's there, like, if people want it. Yeah,
exactly. It makes it really interesting. People are like, wow, that's great.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much, Louise, for sitting down with me today. That was really, really awesome information. I really appreciate it.
Okay, thanks for having me. Nice to see you again as well.
You too. Bye.